Hey guys, my name is Law Sharma. I'm with Comicbook.com. Congratulations to you both on this film. I had so much fun just kind of escaping for those 2 hours. But Shane, I want to start with you just because, Play Dirty is now your first directorial presence since The Predator. And I'm wondering, what was it about this film that made you want to jump back into the director's seat?
There was a lot of time sitting around during a pandemic, first off. And then there was an actor's strike and a writer's strike. And in the midst of all this, someone came and had the rights to these books. And, you're talking my childhood here, man. This is the stuff we all cut our teeth on, was Donald Westlake, AKA Richard Stark. And he would write these wonderful comic novels. And then there was a sort of darker side of the coin with this character, Parker. And I've known Parker since I was very young. And so I had similar fans, Anthony Bagarozzi and Chuck Bondry, who wrote it with us. They love it too. So what can you not do? You got this, rights are available, plus your two buddies are there to do it with you. It was like,
Easy yes.
Yeah, that's a winning combo right there. But Jules, I'll direct this to you because I was curious about the rules of the universe, because some of the action gets so bombastic and wild, and I love that element to it. But because you're producing this and trying to source those teams to make it come alive, what were some of the triumphs in making that production, those parts of the production work for you?
I think it's heightened action for sure, but the movie could own it, could take it, right? And I think basing it it is based in New York. The train crash was, ambitious, but it ended up being an incredible sequence in the movie. So for us, I think it's like a roller coaster of action, this movie, right?
She's also being very modest. We shot Winter in New York in Australia during the summer, and she made that happen. She got us through that so we could budget and make it work as New York Christmas.
It feels like New York, right?
It does feel like New York. Yeah, when I saw that it was shot in Australia, I'm always impressed by how production teams can transform a place. But yeah, I really loved kind of that heightened action because I felt like I was truly just watching a movie. This is a movie now. But Shane, I want to talk about building the ensemble under Mark Wahlberg, because Parker being a character that you care about. I know that at one point Robert Downey Jr. was attached to play him, but what made Mark such a perfect kind of leader in Parker to lead this ensemble who's also very good together?
Well, Mark had an intuitive reaction when he read the material of wanting to make that character his own. And see, when I read a book, I don't picture an actor, so when we write the script, we don't write for an actor. Mm-hmm. So whoever comes along is going to encompass and embrace that and sort of absorb that role into themselves. And that's what Mark wanted to do. That's what he brought, was to say, hey, look, I want to play a criminal. I like this character. And anti-hero, not normal for him.
Yeah,
maybe he goes back to The Departed, right?
I thought so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got The Departed so good. But I do want to talk, Jules, let's talk about the Mark Cuban cameo. I'm so curious, what that phone call looks like to get him in there and then have him play along in a pretty funny scene.
He was an immediate ask. Another producer on the film is Ezra Emanuel. He had the idea. I said, great idea, we're never going to get him. But Ezra was fixated on it and went after him. It was his project. And the moment we called Mark, he was laughing about it and thought it would be a super fun cameo. We worked with him in LA and in Sydney. No, not in Sydney. We shot him in LA, actually. And he had a great time doing it. And last night at the screening, the place was roaring laughing when they saw him come on.
Yeah, you got to give a credit in these troubled times when someone is what we call a sport, when they get the joke, have a sense of humor about it. And he got the joke. I mean, obviously, it makes him very cool in my book.
Totally. Yeah, I don't want to get into spoilers, but Lakeith's line right after that moment is so good in the film. Shane, I do want to talk, I feel like I can't go a week without hearing someone ask about nice guys, right? They want more of the nice guys. And I know that people have talked about wanting a sequel, but for me, I'm just curious if you even have a desire to pursue working with those characters in that story again.
Yeah, no, let's just unqualified say, yes, we would love to make another Nice Guys movie. It requires participation of two people, first and foremost. And because you might be able to get away without the daughter, but you can't get away without them too. And the studio is going to be a bigger movie, it's going to be a more expensive movie, and the original project flopped, sort of. It was discovered, I mean, people love it, but do you want to make a big budget sequel to something that in theaters originally made very little money? It's a tough ask for a studio. So I hope to think that we'll get that kind of momentum, and there'll be a tipping point where they go, okay, it's worth it.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
it's still a possibility.
Still a possible. I mean, I'm hopeful. I think there's a lot of film fans for it, or like a big solid cult following for it. But what's interesting about this film though is it is being released on a streamer on Prime Video, and I think that's interesting in terms of like the net and like the network of people that will get eyes on it. So Jules, I'm wondering, when you were creating and crafting the production for this with that in mind, that like it's going to be in households, did that change kind of the sensibility and how you guys produced the film, if at all?
Actually, not at all. I mean, if anything, the fact that we know so many people are going to be able to watch this movie globally, which doesn't always happen theatrically, but we know this is going to be in a lot of living rooms. There's big screens in people's homes, as we know, and Amazon were an incredible partner for us. Let us go do our thing. Gave us enough money to make the big, bold movie that we did. So, if anything, I think it just opens up a bigger world for people to see the movie.
And I'm curious, frankly, because, this is the first time we've done this, but approached them to specifically do a streaming movie. And it's kind of brand new world in terms of what that looks like. I mean, so the good news, we don't have to worry about just opening weekend, Friday afternoon. Like you used to in the movies, by Friday evening, oh, it's a flop, oh, it's a hit. We don't have that pressure of the opening weekend, which is great.
Totally. I wonder what dictates, because obviously there's a very strong ensemble with the characters that you have, especially at the end of the movie. And I'm wondering how does it look in terms of like, what are the benchmarks of success that would allow you to continue a story with these set of characters?
It's a good question, because we've been talking about it. I think you have to tick a lot of boxes, right? So we have to make sure, the movie is loved by the audience, the analytics around it, which for me is kind of fascinating that a streamer can do, is really dig into who watched it, how long they watched it, if the subscription base went up, because of watching it. Obviously the reviews, but the social media side of it. So I think you have to tick all those boxes and see if there's a yearning for another Play Dirty, which we think there is.
Well, there might be. We can't say. Once again, I always say, like, if you're writing on your cocktail napkin, here's an idea for a movie. You don't immediately say, now where am I going to have that rap party? You wait to see how it does. So I'm also superstitious. But that said, let's see what happens.
I'm curious, Shane, for you, you worked with Robert on Iron Man 3. What do you think of his casting as Dr. Doom for Avengers Doomsday?
I think he's going to single-handedly reinvigorate the entire comic book movie industry with that. I mean, it seemed like at first a cynical idea. Like, oh, let's just go back to the well of the one guy that seems to always save us. But it's going to work. It's really going to work. And he's brought to it, I'm not at liberty to say anything, not that I know. I'm thrilled because I'm first in line to see that. I haven't seen all the Marvel movies. I'll see that one first.